Now, from one show to another, and there really couldn't be any more different, because an exhibition all the way from China opened in London last weekend. And it's an exhibition of horses and soldiers, and they've been described as the greatest archaeological find of all time. In fact, some people even say that they are the 8th wonder of the world. They were found in Xi'an in South China, and they're called the Emperor's Terracotta Army.
There are 7,500 members of this extraordinary army, and they're called terracotta because every single soldier and horse is made out of clay. They were ordered to be modelled by China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, to stand guard over his tomb when he died. The emperor was buried in 210 BC, but the terracotta army remained a secret for 2,000 years, until in 1974 it was discovered by peasants drilling for water. Last year, when the Queen visited China, she went to the Emperor's eerie grave in Xi'an and made what must have been the most unusual inspection of the troops in her life. It took nearly 750,000 craftsmen to create the Emperor's vast and elaborate bodyguard, complete with infantry, chariots, cavalry, and even a general's command post. Only a few lucky people who've travelled to China have been able to see this magnificent collection of ancient figures, and even fewer have been able to get as close as the Queen did. But now that some of the most important pieces have come to Britain, many more people will have the chance to see part of the Terracotta Army.
And that is really exciting because it's only recently that the Chinese have allowed any of the life-size models to leave China. But last Friday, 9 of the warriors and 2 of the horses were allowed to travel to London. Now you can imagine all the complicated arrangements that had to be made to look after them. And on Friday, Mark was in Westminster to help unload this priceless treasure.
This is the hall where the unlikely Chinese tourists will be staying for the next 2 months. Last-minute preparations have been made, and I'm just helping getting the exhibition hall ready for these very important guests. Where does this go now?
Over there.
Right, it's ready.
It's a nice job. Right.
Oh, it's light.
Yeah.
Could do. There was much work to be done to make the exhibition hall fit for an emperor's army. Huge blow-up photographs of the warriors had to be mounted in displays. And all around, the air echoed to the sound of workmen sawing wood and banging nails into floors and walls. At last, the warriors arrived in a huge lorry fitted with special air suspension for a smooth ride. And the press, including me, were there to greet them. It's here. I just can't believe, though, that everything's actually arrived. I mean, we don't know yet, but I can't believe that since it was discovered, it's all in one piece, no breakages.
We understand there's been some problems in East Berlin where we've just received these warriors from. Where
What's happened?
I think a leg of a horse was a little bit broken, but...
And nobody will own up to it, of course.
Well...
Fortunately, the precious cargo is insured for millions of pounds. So if you get at that end...
No, that's the avian.
Oh, is it? Going up. And where we're going, up the ramp? Off the side? What a moment. I'd got no idea what I'd find in the drab grey crate. Would it be part of a warrior or a horse? This is simple, this bit. I suppose they get much heavier, don't they? Yeah. When now, are we? This is exciting. Have you got any idea what's inside? Something light. Yeah. We know that. It's right here. Oh, lots of foam. Can we just... You tell me if I'm sort of going too fast and if I'm... The box had certainly been well packed, and inside was a replica bronze crossbow. So one of the Terracotta Army holds this?
No, this is in a display stand, just as a bow cocked, ready to fire, with some more arrows around it.
As an example of the sort of weapons that they would have used?
That's right.
Next, the big one. Okay. Now this looks just slightly bigger, a bit more trouble, I think. So which side do you want me for this one?
Well, I think you better start at the front.
Okay.
Go at the back.
This seems like a coffin. Well, Bob, what is this?
I think it's a coffin. It's one of the warriors in there. Yeah. That's right.
Okay. Ready, Edith? Yeah. Okay. It really did feel like a dead weight. As we pushed and shoved our way up the slope, I felt as though I was in the middle of a rugby scrum. I wondered for the moment what Emperor Qin would make of it all. This is it. The unveiling. Da, 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 da. Oh, look at that.
There he is.
It's just like the abominable snowman or something. Isn't it amazing? The warriors are as fragile as clay flower pots. I'm frightened to death to even touch it in case it all... This was a big moment for exhibition organiser Bob Bingham.
Very slowly.
It's like Frankenstein, isn't it?
That's right.
Please don't fall forward.
Just that.
Okay.
I'm packed out now.
There really is loads and loads of packing. Right. Which should be all right. All those great things that you can pop.
Our paint's still left on this one.
It's marvellous. Look at that. Look at the detail. Can we just very gently just take a bit off? Oh. Well, that's a bit of a surprise. There's no head on it. Bring me the warrior's head. Where is the head, Bob?
The head's in another box. This is one of those that had a separate head on it. So we have to find the... I think it's in box number 13. We find box number 13.
And then does that just slot in the top?
That just slots in the top.
So relieved. I thought you were going to say, we've lost the head.
That's the head.
I panicked for a second. But it's all in order. Okay. Lift the bottom bit off now. There he is. It's like Pandora's box, isn't it? Oh. Okay. Okay.
The amazing thing is that
It's quite heavy.
on the face is different.
Yes, Bob was saying that. Ah, wonderful. It's very heavy, actually. And does this just slot in? Deep breaths, everybody. Yeah, okay. Will it stay there?
Stay there.
It won't just roll off. There you go, Jerk. In position. That went well.
Okay.
So that's it now. I mean, it isn't fixed in or anything.
No,
It just stays there.
That's how it stays there.
Marvellous. There are other relics from China's past on show, but the highlight of the whole exhibition is the fabulous Terracotta Army.
One thing which is hard to recreate in an exhibition is the sheer size of the real underground burial chamber. The actual site in China covers an area of 4 square miles, and that's about the same size as a town like Cambridge.
And each and every one of the 6,000 soldiers is different. It's thought they may have been modelled from Emperor Qin Shi Huang's own ferocious fighting force, which successfully ended a battle for supremacy in China that lasted 200 years and cost at least 1.5 million lives. Well, I must say, it's a very spine-chilling experience to be in the actual burial chamber. And next to this lot, I've got to keep in line. Now, incredibly, the actual tomb where the emperor is buried has still to be excavated, but experts believe that it's very well protected from unwanted visitors like archaeologists, for instance. In fact, they even say there are poisonous rivers of mercury running all the way through the tomb to keep out raiders. Sounds a bit like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom to me. Anyway, if you're wondering how I've managed to appear in the burial chamber and stand so close to his bodyguards without getting into trouble, it's all a piece of television trickery. Superimposed over the picture of me, we've used these 1,200 replicas of the Emperor's warriors, and I think you must admit that they're all standing to attention like this. They look very impressive. There are all different ranks here too. Some are generals, and some, like this fella, are archers. And as you can see, he's just about big enough to fit into my hand. But as well as these miniatures, we've also got 2 life-size models in the studio. These are exact replicas of the originals, And they're very rare, very valuable too, because each one's been valued at £20,000, and they're the only ones in the country. We're very lucky to have been able to borrow them. Just like the originals, they've come all the way from China, and craftsmen have worked on them. I think the detail is marvellous. This gentleman here would have been the general. Now, can you imagine receiving your orders from him? As you'd imagine, as soon as he raised his voice, he stood to attention straight away. And his armour is marvellous because all the squares are individually picked out, and there are rivets and things on there, and ribbons too. The gentleman kneeling next to him, just like the miniature over there, is an archer. And judging by his face, he means business too. He's got the traditional moustache and the beard. I think these life-size models are very lifelike. Well, the Emperor's Warriors exhibition is open at the Royal Horticultural Society's Old Hall at Vincent Square in London, and it's on from now until February the 20th. Now, it costs £3 to get in, which is a little bit expensive, but the good news is that Blue Peter badge winners can get in absolutely free. If you can't travel to London to see the exhibition, there's now a chance for you to win a miniature warrior, because they're all prizes in our new competition.
There are different sized warriors for the first, second and third prize winners in each of the 3 age groups, and loads of mini warriors for the runners-up. And we're dividing the competition into our usual 3 sections. That's the 7s and unders, the 8s, 9s and 10s, and the 11 to 15-year-olds.
And we'll be giving you competition details in a moment, so you might like to get a paper and pencil handy. But first, have a look at the prizes in detail. The first winning prizes will be able to choose between these 3 warriors, and they are valued at £300 each.
The second prize winners will receive one of these warriors. They're about 20 centimetres high. And for the third prize winners, there are horses. They're 12 centimetres high. And all the top 9 prize winners in each section will receive an invitation for an all-expenses paid VIP visit to the exhibition, so they can see for themselves the real versions of their prizes.
And the runners-up will be very lucky too, because they'll be receiving these mini little warriors, and they come with their own presentation boxes, and that's certainly something to keep for the future, a real treasure.
So now for the competition. It's a question about China, and it's not too difficult. Now, apart from being responsible for the Terracotta Army, the Emperor Qin was also responsible for the building of one of the great Chinese creation. Now, it's a world-famous landmark, and I'll give you a clue, it's the only man-made object that can be seen from space with the naked eye. So I'll give you it again. Apart from being responsible for the Terracotta Army, the Emperor Qin was also responsible for the building of another great Chinese creation. It's a world-famous landmark, and it's the only man-made object that can be seen from space with the naked eye. If you think you know, stick it on a postcard or an envelope and send it to this address. Warriors Competition, Blue Peter, BBC TV Centre, London W12 8QT. The address again is Warriors Competition, Blue Peter, BBC TV Centre, London W12 8QT. If you know what that man-made object that can be seen from space, that Chinese creation, is, okay? And Emperor Qin was responsible for it. Now, if you think you know the answer to the question, just turn your envelope or your card over, and on the back, divide it into 2, and put your name, your address and your age. Now, your age is very important, because if you don't put your age on the envelope, I'm afraid we won't be able to judge your entry, okay? You won't be eligible for it. So name, address and age, and then on the other side just put it is, and then the answer to the question. All right, good luck with it.
The closing date for the Warriors competition is December the 31st. So as soon as you think of the answer, stick it on the card and send it off as quickly as possible. And just to make sure that everybody has a fair chance of winning, we'll be putting all the correct answers into a tombola and drawing the winners out of that.
We've saved the best news until last today, and that's the news about our rags appeal. And I'm glad to say that since last Thursday, you've sent us loads more of old wool and cotton. And it's flashing away at the 400-ton mark, which is an increase of 100 tons since last Thursday. And the actual figure is 435 tons of old rags. And there's still an enormous way to go before we reach our 1,000-ton mark. So please, please ask your friends or your families to hunt around for any more old rags. Because if we reach our target, that will be able to do some good for disabled children and for disabled riders. And also, they can join in a class for handicapped riders. We want to help 365 RDA centres, as well as providing and training a pony.
Yeah, so get those rags sent in to us as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Now then, there's only 3 more shows after today's programme before Christmas, so we can light the first candle on our Advent crown. Isn't it exciting, this? Oh, we're going to do it over there with my table. Do you remember seeing this when you were a young viewer?
Yeah, I used to watch Pete and John doing it. It makes you feel quite Christmassy. It's good.
It does. It only seems like yesterday, doesn't
All right,
it? So
so
we
you
light the
ready?
taper first of all. Okay. And we sing Jingle Bells, and
Jingle
I'm
bells.
dreaming of a white Christmas. Oh, outside Has it caught?
Yeah, well done.
There you go. So I'll light the other 3 on the next 3 programmes.
Oh, well, we'll be back on Thursday, and Karen and I will be show jumping with Harvey Smith.
Yeah, that should be that. I'll be crossing a crevasse with the Jade Venturers and the Royal Engineers.
Yes, and I will be giving you an idea for a present for grands and granddads. All that's on Thursday. So how did you go on with the horse jumping then? Was it good?
Well, it was okay.
She did brilliantly.
Are they big fences or small fences? This is what we want to know. Big or small?
And on December the 21st, I'm going to show you how to make an extra present for your mums and dads or whoever, and it's involving one of these, and it's a washing up liquid dispenser. And do make sure that you get one of these before December the 21st.
And Bonnie loves those, of course.
Yes, she does.
Never seen one of those before.
And she's broken it already.
I want to know about these fences. Are they 6-foot fences?
Just wait and see, okay? Bye. See you on Thursday.
See you on Thursday. Bye-bye.